5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Hi everyone, how are you? We're going to talk about what I call the Starseed template. So what is a Starseed template? For me, it's everything. It's the all. Specifically today, we're going to talk about spiritual awakenings. What is your spiritual awakening? What is your spiritual awakening? Are you having a midlife crisis? Are you just having a really off day? Do you not feel like yourself anymore? What is it? Do you feel completely different? Do you look at pictures of yourself, even recent ones, and you're like, that's not me, that's not how I look? Some people, especially in the medical industry, and I'm not a doctor, I'm not giving medical advice, however, some will call it a midlife crisis, quarter life crisis, whatever, a crisis. The sky is falling, and it's falling, right? Just like Chicken Little said. Really, it's just a spiritual awakening. It's a turning point in your life, a spiritual awakening. What does this mean? It means whatever you want it to mean. So, it is a bit of an investigation, right? An investigation of your soul, an investigation of you, the inner you. There is nothing on the outside, right? It's all inside. We're reflecting back. My version of you, my version of you, your version of me, your version of me, right? So, my Starseed template started in early 2021. Early 2021, crows were following me everywhere. And when I mean everywhere, I mean everywhere. Like, I was living in Sacramento, California at the time. I've since relocated to Northern Florida. I was about turned 39 years old, February 2021. And, you know, I worked in downtown in the Capitol, and I would walk around at lunchtime and whatnot, and literally crows followed me everywhere. Like, and I was thinking, you know, the crows must have always been there. They must have always been there. And it's taken me, you know, over 10 years, over a decade to notice them following me. And, you know, I'd walk to lunch by myself. I'd see like 2 or 3 crows. I'd go, you know, move my car at the parking meter. I'd go, you know, drive a few miles away, come back, walk into work, walk out of work, and the crows would not stop. I just knew that something was happening, even physical changes on my body. Like, I looked in the mirror at work, and suddenly it wasn't me or what I felt like was me anymore. And I'm like, what is going on? Like, my face was heavily flushed red, and I even called a nurse and I said, am I having menopause? Like, I'm just turning 39. This is not, like, you know, I'm 39. I'm not 49 or 59. You know, based on everything else, with only the flushing of my face and racing heart for no reason at all. I wasn't running. I didn't have an anxiety attack, nothing. It was just a rush of energy that I didn't know how to direct, or rather balance out. So I talked to one of my doctors at the VA. I'm a military veteran. So anyways, and I tell her, crows are following me everywhere. And the crows told me, like, I'm not hearing a voice, like, they told me energetically, I'm having a spiritual awakening. Is this normal? Psychologist, she didn't even bat her eyelashes. She just looked up at me and said, yeah. And I just shrugging her shoulders, like, nonchalantly, because what I learned later is that trauma, and not just trauma, but rapid change and heavy, quick physical movement leads to a spiritual awakening. And then what I realized was that we're all having a spiritual awakening. The experience is unique, just like anything else, from person to person, or soul fractal to soul fractal, or starseed to starseed. However, the meaning of the rapid changes with the energies and realizing that you are different is not what they call a midlife crisis. This is not Chicken Little, the sky is falling, and it's not even necessarily a quote-unquote bad thing. It's a good thing. And when we are at our rapid amount of change, even lowest amount of frequency, and we realize that we're different and we are not the same person we were a moment ago, let alone a month ago. We even look at pictures of ourselves and don't recognize that that's me. It's not me anymore. This is a spiritual awakening. This is not what they call a midlife crisis. The midlife crisis is going to get you. No, it's not. We're infinite beings. We have free will. We are free will energy beings. We are infinite. Therefore, nothing is going to get us. Got it? Infinite. Infinite means infinite. Nothing on the outside. Everything within, reflecting out. Your version of me, I'm your version. You're my version. But I didn't know that in 2021. I thought that I was having a midlife. I run the hormonal things. I'm a woman. It's not that. So, what is it? It's you. The energy is you. You are self-actualizing, self-realizing, being self-aware. What am I? What am I doing here? What is this place? What am I creating? Am I co-creating? Am I one being? Am I both? Am I all the above? I am all the above. And the experience is what I choose because it's my perspective. And I have free will. So, after I saw the crows and realized that this is tied to my 1/3 indigenous native roots, and I got DNA about 1/3 indigenous. My dad is from Mexico. My mom is from Oregon, non-Hispanic. And I realized, it took me years to realize this, that the ant people, insectoids, via my native family, sent me that message. And that's the way that I wanted it to be delivered, because I had what you call synchronicities. Synchronicities are just the universe reflecting back to you because you asked for a sign. If you didn't ask for a sign, you wouldn't get one. Right? You wouldn't. So, what do? I see something called Gaia TV. And I order Gaia TV. I'm watching it. I'm, doing my little binge watching. This is, I'm a working mom, young mom at this point. Well, not a young mom, but I had a young child about age 39, 2021. And, all that stuff goes down. And I'm only going to the office one day a week. Prior to that, I was doing like 2.5 hours of commuting and, the whole California thing, traffic and all that. Office worker, working in a government building, and I was at home a lot more. And so instead of having those, multiple hours in the car, I was able to utilize that time after work, much sooner, get home, be home already. And back up a little bit, a few months before that, maybe even I don't think 2020, but yeah, 2021 definitely. I started watching seminars of Robert Edward Grant. I believe I came across his profile right after I got into Gaia TV, and he had like free seminars about polymath. I was a forensic accountant then, and former tax auditor, and I've always had because of that, I've had a love for sacred geometry and creation, molecular structure, anything having to do with creation, just basically everything, if you think about it. And I told myself, I wish this guy was a polymath who's brilliant, not just at math, also an inventor, who reminds me of Leonardo da Vinci. Gets a show on Gaia TV. Well, lo and behold, I believe it was the next February of 2022. Guess who has a show on Gaia TV, which means he had to have been filming it right before then, or even during that time that I wished that. Robert Edward Grant. He got his show, Codex, on Gaia TV. Okay, fine. So, I'm just chilling on my phone and have Codex turned on the TV, Gaia TV. I know they don't sponsor anything. This is just my Starseed template, spiritual awakening story. I'm just looking at my phone, I'm doing whatever. And suddenly I hear him say on the TV, the crows would not stop. The crows kept coming, paraphrased. The crows kept coming, they would not stop. This is the Nigredo stage, in Latin, meaning dark or black, per Dr. Carl Jung, the famous Swiss psychotherapist / psychiatrist in the early 1900s. And the dark night of the soul is what brings it together in this first stage of awakening. And the crows would not stop. The crows keep coming and coming and coming to symbolize the dark night of the soul. My jaw dropped when I heard that, and I was on the couch. I was like, snapped my head over, and I'm like, I wished the show to happen. It was already in the making and made, like right after. And like magic, it manifested. It also manifested a specific episode that I actually took screenshots of, or pictures with my phone from the TV, because it was hard to actually believe that literally how Robert Edward Grant was describing the dark night of the soul awakening as described by Dr. Carl Jung in some texts and described by him. The crows just would follow everywhere. Like, this is what happened. It's physically happened to me. That is a big synchronicity of the universe, because I'm the type of person that loves feedback, and I love feedback loops. I asked for a sign. Let's rewind. How did I know the crows were telling me this? Well, I'm a retired investigator. I was an active investigator then. So, left, right brains are my, is it the left brain that is very like mathematical and logical. It's developed, highly developed. My right brain, the artistic side, I believe it's the right brain, correct me if I'm wrong, but that's being more developed in recent years. And anyway, I'm stuck on Highway 5 in traffic, downtown Sacramento, capital of California, going home, 5:30 p.m. with 30,000 state workers. I was a federal worker, and 5,000 state workers and 10,000 county workers. There's like 50,000 of us literally leaving a fairly small downtown, if you haven't been there. And so I literally hear like noises coming through the window. Like, I didn't have music on or anything. like, what is that? It sounds like screaming from far away. Like I thought it was a cat or I didn't know what it was. I rolled down the window and, like literally stopped on the highway and the river's right there. I don't know, American River, I think, not Sacramento River. I look in the trees. There are literally like thousands of crows, like cawing. These are not ravens, they're crows because they're flying in those murders, the groups. Tree after tree after tree after tree after tree after tree. They were in like 50 trees because, Sacramento's the city of trees, and so to have the most trees in the city limits after Paris, France, which is mostly oak trees. Redwoods have been taken out, a lot of them, unfortunately, but oak trees and a little bit of evergreens. But I was baffled. The crows were yelling at me, "Wake the fuck up. Wake up! Wake up!" It's like they were shaking me and rattling my cage of reality. Wake up. You didn't get it when we were following you around for like 20 days straight. So you're going to get it now. You roll down the window, you're going to hear like 2,000 of us. And then right after that, I kept seeing them, and then I saw a big murder fly overhead, with like 500 of them or more in the sky. Too many to count. Because they flew in from the fields over there by the airport to downtown. And because of the river area or something, they liked it. But I think they liked landing on the skyscrapers and stuff. But anyway, and they were probably just migrating. But, they wake up. And then I realized this is a spiritual awakening. And then after, my doctor didn't bat an eyelash. It's like, yeah, you have a spiritual awakening, possible. I realized we're all having a spiritual awakening. We all are. All of our perspectives are valid. All perspectives are valid, and they're unique. However, the actual name of the experience they call midlife crisis, or what I say, spiritual awakening itself, in itself is not unique. We're all having a spiritual awakening. We all choose how thin we want our veil to be, right? And it changes based on our perspective. There is no past, there is no future, there's only the present moment. However, we have different perspectives called other lives. Maybe in another life perspective, I didn't want to awaken. And this one I did. And it happened like 5 days before, the C word shutdowns. Like I'm talking like February 7th, 2021. And like everything was shutting down already in California, like 2 days later, 5 days, 10 days later. I remember going to the eye doctor on like February 14th, somewhere around that time, 2021. And I had seen and felt fear from that eye doctor. Yeah, I know that they don't want to have a malpractice lawsuit and get sued because a patient got sick in their practice and, God forbid, passed away, if you could even prove that. I was taking out my contacts from my eyes, and she said, "Did you bring your own eye contact solution?" I'm like, "No." They always have extra ones on hand. I'm like, I remember, about February 14th, 2021. So she gave me an extra one. Did you wash your hands before? And I'm like, yeah, I wash my hands before and after every time I, put contacts in my eyes so I don't get sick again and everything. And that lady was like shaking of fear. Like, okay, I get it. You don't want to get sued. You don't want people to like have like a contagion event and like sue your practice and put you out of business because you're making hundreds of thousands a year and you have yourself and a family to support. However, what's up with all the fear? Like she was literally shaking. Did you wash your hands? Okay. And I'm like, is there something going on? I'm like, yeah, I washed my hands. Like, okay. And this is what I was reflecting back to me in that moment. And yeah, there's this new, there's a virus thing called COVID, blah, 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 you know what it is. I'm like, okay, normally the flu, yeah, it can turn into a flu type virus, can turn into, yeah, pneumonia and all that. And, you know, I got allergy shots because I kept getting bronchitis every year. I get it, but I'm not scared of it. Like, I'm not elderly. Again, I'm like 38. I'm like 39, 38 going on 39 at this point, healthy. I'm like, I'm not scared of it. I have a baby at home. I do not want to be a carrier and bring it home to my 3-year-old or my diabetic ex-husband back then, who was older than me. And I said, so I get that, but I'm not scared of it or anything. And then I just looked at her like sideways, and she was like freaking out. And it's almost like she had an anxiety attack and had to leave the patient room, you know, as I was washing my hands and changing my contacts. And to this day, I never got that, knock on wood. And as a pharmacy technician, he used to work as basically a pharmacist in the military for 6 years. After speaking with a doctor, pharmacist, who told me there was like basically no testing, I decided not to get that JAB, and I never got it. 90% or more of my people at work, like over 100 of them, ended up getting it after they got the JAB. I was just healthy, you know. I was in the process of turning very organic and vegan and all that. So anyways, still haven't gotten it, but I still have letter I on hand in a human dose, of course, from an actual online firm, from a real pharmacy and real prescriber. But anyways, that's beside the point. Yeah, so what is your awakening story? How did you realize that one day you just wake up and you're like, I feel different. I don't feel like myself because I'm not acting or being actually myself. I need to be myself. Like, I'm like bursting at the seams. The energy is like literally like coming out of the fucking surface of me. I need this to come out in a healthy way, obviously, because if it's not healthy, then, you know, it ain't gonna go down very well. But, you know, what is going on? Then you start seeking, what is my purpose? And if you're like me, getting all these psychic readings, you know, it's good to bounce back from other healers and whatnot, because I can't be objective with myself, right? I get that. However, 99.99999% of the time, my intuition is being filtered through my higher self, coming from an oversoul. Now I know this. And I realized that years ago, I had what they call an NDE. What is an NDE? Near-death experience. What is a near-death experience? Well, medically, if you're like brain dead and all that, and you come in and flatline in the heart and all that, okay, fine. I don't have that medically. At age 19, I was supposed to hit a Kodiak Alaskan grizzly bear when I was stationed in Alaska in 2001. I was 19. The trippy thing about this, which it made me think back on this, I started the spiritual awakening and realized we're all having a spiritual awakening, that in itself is not unique. I had an NDE when I was 19. My friend said she needed cold medicine. We went to North Pole, Alaska from the base, Eielson Air Force Base, which is outside of Fairbanks. Small little nothing town. You got to remember there were no smartphones then. I didn't even have a computer at home. And so anyway, didn't have maps, nothing. And so go to this grocery store, little small one in North Pole, Alaska, go get back to the base. Of course, it's during the winter time because 9 months out of the year in Alaska is like -50. And, you know, 2 tree lines of forest like this in my line of sight. The gate, the military gate, is like straight over there to the left. I'm getting ready to turn in. I'm only going like 45 miles an hour. Out of the forest comes a fucking grizzly bear the size of my Chevy Cavalier. These are the largest bears in the world. Bigger than polar bears. Which I didn't know until I looked it up. This motherfucker was probably 2,000 pounds. All evergreen trees right here. And I'm just driving on this little highway. It comes running out full speed, like 35 miles an hour, however fast it goes, perpendicular to the car from the right to the left. Right here, this is my right. You might say it as left if it's mirrored. Right here where the bear was just about to come in the windshield and like crush us. We were both 19. It's 2001. I think it was probably like spring. Snow was still there, so I don't know, sometime between February and September 2001. There was a cloud of smoke. The grizzly bear. Instead of the grizzly bear, it disappears. A cloud of smoke for like a blip. Boop. Cloud of smoke, and then the grizzly bear is suddenly on the left side of the car, like within an inch, and like not even a second, running safely into the forest. I'm like, what happened? So, that's my spiritual awakening story. What's yours? What's yours? What's yours? What's the point of this? The point is to be yourself, no matter what. Be your true self. Follow your highest passion. That is your point of this experience. Be your fucking self no matter what. It's none of your business what anyone else thinks. Follow your highest passion. You follow your highest passion. It doesn't matter what happens. It matters your vibration. That's it. When was that? 2021? It's taken me 5.5 years to get to this point. That's it. Follow your highest passion. I love Bashar. And when I do channeling, a lot of what he says comes out that way as well. Follow your highest passion. Be yourself. That's it. Have fun. That's the point. How do you know what your highest passion is? Well, you get excited about it. And you love doing it when you're doing it. That's how you know what your highest passion is. That's how you know what your purpose is in life, is just actually be yourself. Be yourself. Have a great day, all. Unconditional love, which I'm truly working on getting to that point. Unconditional love. Don't forget to follow your highest passion and be yourselves. Adios for now.